If you are new to this series, we have been going through every single national title claim in college football history for the FBS or highest level at the time it was claimed. At this time, we have covered all of the one-time and two-time champions and are moving on to the threes and beyond. Please go back and watch those for me after this if you enjoy this sort of thing. From here, some teams will still be lumped together and some will get their own depending on how much of an argument I feel is needed. So, let's get chronic. Prior to the college football playoffs and BCS national title game, we relied only on the polls to determine the college football national champion, with some formulas and short-lived systems in between attempting to better things. The polling system failed many times, with as many as 4 to 6 teams in contention that never even played each other. This often resulted in many split national championship years. Prior to 1965, some polls voted on their national champions before the bowl games were even played and then saw their champion lose their final game. If you go back a little further, the first attempt to straighten things out came in 1936 with the creation of the AP poll and was often the most respected poll for many years. But even then, the early media had their biases and favorites due to what they were familiar with. If all the writers and voters only saw Notre Dame or Yale, they would have no way to compare it to what was going on down south or out west, and usually just sided with what they knew. Prior to the AP, we had a wild, lawless 67 years of college football where many or no teams called themselves national champions, and a lot of those teams didn't even claim national titles in this era until more modern polls went back and retroactively named them national champions. Are you confused yet? You should be. While the AP poll is often the benchmark for a champion from 1936 to 1998, I would still argue that point. If the AP named you champion and nobody else did, that smells a bit fishy. Personally, I tend to side with what a majority of the polls say. So if the AP says you are the champ, but 11 others don't, I look deeper into the situation. And that's just me. You are free to do or think whatever you like.
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
And of course, I view any titles won through the playoffs or BCS title game as automatically 100% legit from the start of the video, even if you disagree with the selection committee. And yes, I have also disagreed with them plenty of times. On the flip side, any that claim a separate title outside of those official parameters I view as complete bullshit, whether the selection committee screwed said team or not. History is history, and I respect that fact, even if I dislike that fact. For the purposes of this channel, I'm only going by what the school actually claims. I will do a series covering unclaimed titles later on. I have added a layer to my tiers and now broken them down into 5 sections. 100% legit, debatable but fair, I see your argument but no, complete bullshit, and introducing 1941 Alabama, which will be reserved for the most imaginary or dumb claims that exist. SMU is unfortunately best known for getting the death penalty. If you are somehow not familiar, the team was completely shut down in 1987 and 1988 due to numerous and repeat violations surrounding recruiting. This scandal essentially crippled the program until 2007. I'm sure most of you already knew that, but that's just the short of it in case. The team was home to Doak Walker, who won the Heisman Trophy in 1948, who even has his own award these days given annually to the best running back in the country. The team is back to a very respectable place these days, having made the 2024 college football playoffs. But as far as national titles go, SMU claimed 3, and 2 of those were during all these scandals, but we will get there. The first claim came in 1935. The team dominated most of the season, recording 8 shutouts. They even defeated TCU 20-14, who also claim a national title this season. And yes, I already gave my thoughts on TCU in a previous video, please go check that out. Here's the thing though, SMU played Stanford in the Rose Bowl in the final game and lost 7-0. The Mustangs were named champions by both the Dickinson and Holgate systems. Alongside the 2 Texas schools, Minnesota and Princeton claimed the title. Minnesota was in the middle of a 3-peat dynasty and went 8-0, so we can't throw them out of the mix at all. Princeton went 9-0 and dominated in what was considered a very tough schedule for the 1930s with 5 wins over future Ivy League teams. There is a more obvious champion here with 7 selectors, and it is not SMU. This would have been very simple. Win the Rose Bowl, and I consider you at least co-champions of the 100% legit tier. But unfortunately, that is just not what happened. I know you want it and all, but I put this one at, I see your argument, but no. The 1981 SMU team was finally heating up after recruiting players completely fair and square to build a nice roster under Ron Meyer and his Boy Scout honest level boosters. The Mustangs started out 6-0, dominating most teams until they ran into number 10 Texas, losing 9-7. They did not lose again and finished the season 10-1, ranked number 5 in the AP. Yep, that's already a questionable ranking for a national title claim. Oh, and if you didn't detect the sarcasm before, yeah, SMU was on probation for paying recruits already, and even though it had not reached the levels it would, they couldn't go to a bowl game, and the coaches poll disqualified them from their rankings. The only nod to a championship came from the National Championship Foundation, which was originally created to retroactively name champions from 1869 to 1979, but whatever, they kept going until 2000. It is also worth noting that in the history of naming national champions, this was the one the NCF apparently had the most confusion, as they named 5 teams as their co-champion. I personally can't take you seriously if you can't at least narrow your champ down to 2 teams. So anyways, yeah, in 1981, Clemson went 12-0 and were named consensus national champion, and that does include the NCF also. The loss, the probation, the number 5 final ranking, I'm actually going to give this one my first 1941 Alabama tier level. While the title is not completely made up, it is far beyond the scope of possibility, and I don't think any team with an ounce of integrity would try to claim this. Had they gone undefeated, I'd probably bump them up a tier, but guys, you were still on probation at the end of the day. 1982 may have been the best SMU team of all time. The addition of Eric Dickerson to the backfield had the Pony Express running at full gallop. The team started the season ranked number 8 and ran through the first 10 games unscathed to set up a number 2 Mustang squad against number 9 Arkansas at home. The game ended in a 17-17 tie and dropped them to number 4. In the next game, SMU defeated Dan Marino and number 6 Pitt in the Cotton Bowl to finish 11-0-1 and ranked number 2 in the final AP polls. And while some shady shit was obviously still going on, as we all now know, they were not on probation this season, or at least not a harsh one. If you've seen my previous video, where Penn State was included, you'll know I viewed them as 100% champs for 1982, as they were named consensus national champions and went undefeated with a number 1 final ranking. So what is SMU basing this claim on? The Helms Foundation named them co-champions, and then quit naming champions after this season. It is hard to make a case against the consensus national champion, but not impossible. Just has to be a really good argument. I don't think we have that here. The tie really hurt the Mustangs. This title claim is going to have to go in the complete bullshit category. You finished as a clear-cut second. An undefeated season would have likely gotten you a debatable but fair spot if they end up not playing Penn State. And of course, if they had been matched up with the Nittany Lions, that would have been an easy call with the winner. I promise, I have nothing against SMU and didn't go into this planning to discredit all 3 claims. I have even been to SMU and thought it was really nice. Hell, I might even go as far as to claim they are my favorite college football team in Texas. And to this day, their 30 for 30 episode remains one of my favorites. The Mustang is even one of my favorite cars. I'm pretty neutral on the horse breed itself. Seriously, I promise I don't hate SMU, and this video was not a hit piece. Please go out and get a legit title. I am cheering for it. And there we go. If you feel I was unfair or missed a piece of info, go ahead and make your case in the comments. And remember, this is just one guy on YouTube who did some research and gave an opinion. I'm sure I won't change any fan base's opinion on the titles they choose to boast about, and UCF fans have made that pretty clear thus far. This has been College Football Chronicles, and I hope you join me next time.